As we continue our updates with this episode entitled Jane's Got a Lot to Say Part 2, it picks up right where Part 1 left off. Jane is continuing to explain how she had to defend herself in the online comments after the short WMUR video aired because she was being personally attacked. Yeah, you heard me right. She was being attacked for not being able to positively identify her attacker in some of the comments on this video. I think we can all agree that Jane's been through enough, so all I can say is this. Lead with love and compassion, and above all else, please, don't be judgmental.
Do yourself a little test, okay? Say you're in a store and somebody accidentally bumps into you and you look at his face and then imagine, could you absolutely identify him 20 years later?
Right.
I did not know who he was. Yes, I saw his face. I did not know him personally. I did not know who he was. I did not know his name. I did not know how old he was. I did not know. I know approximate. I knew nothing about this monster. So how could you say there's no reason why I couldn't positively identify or know this person? I mean, come on. It's just not even common sense. There's no common sense there. It just
No, it's not.
so frustrating. People were so mean. So mean. I was like, are you kidding me?
I even got into it personally with one person. Then I
Yeah.
just realized the back and forth, it just wasn't going to. And we usually never respond to like trolls like that.
No.
But the audacity of this person, like every single thing that they said was so unfactual. And the audacity of this person, like she was literally placing blame on you.
Yeah.
For all of them being dead, which let's look at the timeline, people. Jane was the last one. So, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I was shaking.
She
I
was
couldn't sleep. I
personally
was shaking.
attacking me because her cousin was one of the ones that did not survive.
Yep.
But my attack happened after her cousin was murdered.
Yes.
But she was personally attacking me like it was my fault.
Right.
Like almost calling me ignorant because I couldn't identify someone I saw. It was just like crazy. I was like, and I took it so personal.
Yep. I could tell by your responses. And I think that's one of the pieces that just made me so infuriated too, was because she literally brought you back to that place of like survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
And every single piece that she was saying was so unfactual and just so delusional. Like she clearly was unhinged. She just didn't know what she was talking about. But I think that's the piece that made me so angry, was because I could tell by the way you're responding how bad it was getting to you. And I was like, God damn it. Stop. Stop fucking victim blaming. Fucking stop.
Yeah.
You've been through enough. You felt it enough throughout the past 38 years. You know, like stop.
I mean, honestly, I mean, people need to really step back and show a lot more kindness because it was and there was a few others on there too wanting to know why I couldn't identify him. It's think about it. Think about it before you start especially posting stuff on social media.
Yeah.
Until you walk in my shoes, don't judge. Yeah, you shouldn't be judging anybody unless you walk in their shoes.
Right.
Judgment just, I said a few years ago, judgment has no room in my life. You judge me and I just don't have room for you in my life.
Yeah. It says so much more about them than it does about you.
Oh, it does. It does.
It really does.
And I mean, and I'm not saying I did not show any compassion for her because it was her cousin. She was related to one of the victims. But my gosh, where was my compassion? You know, where was her compassion towards me?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I went to that girl's grave and sat there and cried. So don't tell me that I had no compassion for your cousin. I've been there. I've gone to her grave.
Yep.
And I've cried
Yep.
for her. So you don't know me, and you don't know what I've done, and you don't know. Yeah, you don't know. So don't judge.
Yeah. So to summarize the short little WMUR story, it's unfortunate that it was short. It's unfortunate that there were some factual pieces that were like astray in there. We really wish it had gone into a little bit more detail, given a little bit more context. You know, with you recording for 6 hours with this person, it would have been great for it to actually be a little bit more, in depth. But
Yeah.
it was good that it was put out, that something was put out. Again, visibility is great. As long as the visibility of things being put out are accurate, right? I think that might lead us into one of the other things, unless you want to say anything else about the WMUR snippet
No,
that they
we
put out
can
there.
move forward.
So I just want to preface this part of this conversation with saying, I don't want to come across as if we are trying to be ungrateful or trying to tear people down
No.
that want to bring light to Jane's case or any of the Connecticut River Valley cases, or honestly, any cold cases in and around this area at all. We do love that people still want to compile information. We do still love that people want to go ahead and put information out there. Recently, something did circulate. Someone by the name, his first name was Ian. And what he did was he actually did an entire compilation of not just, Jane's case, but also all the Connecticut River Valley cases, and did a whole huge workup on suspects and all of this information. It was compiled and it started circulating, and to no fault of the person that actually put it out there, was like, hey, this is a great all-inclusive article. Like, hey, there's a ton of fact in here. I went back and I read some of the comments in the group, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. Like she was almost like freaking out. Like, I didn't realize that so much of this wasn't factual, because there's so many, right, of these cases that are involved, that are related to Jane's too. And because they are so old, there has been a lot of information, a lot of misinformation that has been put out there on the internet. And once it's out there forever. We do appreciate people trying to bring visibility and bring fact, but it's really important that when people start compiling, like doing like huge write-ups and things like that, that you really try and fact check what you're putting out there, because these cases are unsolved. All of them are unsolved. So when you put information out there that is misinformation or that is just completely flat out wrong, it hurts these cases. So as I was pulling together this article, I was trying to fact check, each of these pieces, and was starting to actually write a list, but I just ended up stopping because the list became too long. So basically, the moral of the story is just please, 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 as you're trying to make sure that this information is staying like out there in the public and that sort of thing, if we're spreading misinformation, we're hurting these cases because they're all unsolved still. So great places to go to actually fact check
Yeah.
us.
Yes,
Us and
absolutely.
Jane, Invisible
I mean, that
Tears.
article was so bad. They had a picture of someone that wasn't even they said it was Elizabeth Critchley, and it wasn't even a picture of Elizabeth Critchley. That was a picture of a different victim on the cold case unit
Yeah.
file cases that had nothing to do with the Connecticut River Valley cases. That article was so bad. I read like 2, maybe 2 paragraphs, and I was like, "Oh my god, please remove this," because
Yeah.
when you post something that's not factual, people have a tendency of really questioning a lot of things, and it just gets exhausting, because then I
Yeah.
feel like I have to defend some of the stuff that people are saying about non-factual stuff that are in articles like that. And it does really get exhausting, and it doesn't help anything. If anything, it hurts.
Yeah, there was I understand the tone of the article was trying to be really unbiased as well, There's so much detail in there about Nicolau as well. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the summary, he ended up saying, well, no, you know what I mean? It wasn't Nicolau. So just to put it out to everyone out there who continues to see or hear anything about Nicolau, not only have we gone over extensively with Jane about why that occurred, why that's debunked, why he is not a person of interest nor a suspect, he has been eliminated completely
Yes.
from the pool by law enforcement.
Yep.
There has been undeniable evidence that clears Nicolau from these cases.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure everyone in their life has done or said something that they have absolutely regretted.
Of course.
Everybody's human. I'm
Mm-hmm.
human. You're human.
Yep.
Amanda's human. Everybody out there is human. So you make mistakes and you have regrets. I have looked back and looked at a lot of video of the whole Michael Nicolau thing. I've read articles that were wrote about him way back when his name first came up. And people are like, "Well, she positively identified him." I never did.
Right.
And I had heard that so much, I was thinking to myself, maybe I did do that at one time. I never positively identified him. I said there was a high probability.
Yep.
And, my explanation of that was if I say there's a high probability that it was him, that would make law enforcement investigate him.
Right.
And that's all I wanted. I
Yeah.
wanted law enforcement to investigate him. They were not at first. They kind of brushed it off like whatever, for whatever reason. But that's all I wanted was law enforcement to fully investigate him, to either include him or exclude him. That's what I wanted. And for the first time, I had to literally go on camera and speak about this. And one of the reasons why I did that is because somebody convinced me that if I go on camera and I'm serious about him, then they will realize that, oh, she's not afraid anymore because he's dead, and they will investigate him.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but that's pretty much in a nutshell of what happened.
Yeah.
But I never actually said it was him. I said there was a high probability that it was him and wanted them to investigate him. And they did. They fully investigated him for almost 3 years and then finally came to the conclusion that no, he did not fit in anything. It was not him, and they excluded him. So, it was not Michael Nicolau. Yes, I do regret Michael Nicolau's name ever coming in to my life. But, we're trying our best to get people away from that.
Yeah. I think just as long as we just keep on, keep on summarizing if it comes up as, annoying as it might be, anytime it comes up, if we just keep on just reiterating the fact that back then you thought there was a possibility, but now he has been completely investigated and completely excluded. So let's remove him from the conversation and continue to look at other
Because even still
people of
today,
interest.
I get people saying, "Oh, well, I thought it was solved. It was that Nicolau guy." It's like, no,
Yeah.
these cases still remain unsolved. They are 100% unsolved. So, you know, please, if you have information, if you think you have information, if you remember something, bring it to the cold case unit in Concord, New Hampshire. Amanda will post the information again. But
Hmm.
please, we do not discourage anyone. I try not to discourage anyone to bring their information that they may have to the cold case unit. Now, people bring it to me. Again, I'm going to say, you can bring all this information to me, but there's not a dang thing I can do with it. I am not a detective. I'm not an investigator. I can't do anything with this information when you bring it to me. And if anything, I really wish you wouldn't bring it to me. It's information I don't need to know. It's more important for the proper authorities to have this information. Give the information to them. They will investigate it. If they have questions, they will contact you. But please, I cannot do anything with this information that you guys bring to me. Please bring it to the authorities. Please bring it to the cold case unit in Concord, the AG office. For one, it's not my job to solve these cases. I never thought that I would solve these cases. It's up to the authorities. It's up to the cold case unit. It's up to the AG's office to solve these cases. It's not my job. It's their job.
Yep.
You know, people are kind of stunned when they hear me say stuff like that. Let me tell you, right now, I bet there's at least 50 people out there actively investigating these cases on their own.
Yep.
Easy. I would say easy 50 that think
probably.
that they can solve this case. I've had people come to me and say, I have been investigating these cases full time for 15 years. Now they're not a detective. They're not private investigators. They're just private citizens that think that they can solve these cases. And they investigate these cases for like 10, 15 years and bring this information to me. There are people out there doing this. Have at it. I don't discourage you from doing it at all. Do it. If you feel like that you can solve these cases or find very important information that would help solve these cases, please do it. But don't bring it to me.
I mean, if you were to even try and guesstimate over the years, Jane, how many different people have brought you information or even just like ask you a question or ask you to look at a photograph or, one of the most common things, I know who did this. It was, it was my husband, it was my dad, it was, my neighbor. If you could estimate, what would that estimate be?
Over 100.
Yeah.
I mean, people have come knocking on my door with folders of information.
Yeah. Which is just, that would freak me out.
And it doesn't even so much freak me out anymore. I mean, yeah, you're coming to my private home with this information, but it's more frustrating to me because it's like I can't do anything with this.
Right. It's almost like try to put yourself into Jane's shoes in the, she had so much trauma. She's dealt with so much afterwards, right? All of these are still unsolved. And I know that you probably would be thinking that you want to share this with her almost as like look, and now there's hope and we can solve this. But please think about the emotional component to what you're doing as well. And for the simple fact of exactly like Jane just said, even if you have the information that can solve her case, she can't do anything with it. It has to be law enforcement that actually does something with it. So
Right.
it's not like it's not appreciated.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Maybe it's a little hard for people to try and put themselves in your shoes. And I get that. There's not a lot of people who have been through what you have been through.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. And now back to our episode.
Well, another thing I've heard too is people misunderstand what we're saying. Like when we do the podcast and we ask for tips and people to come forward and please come forward with any tips or anything. I guess people are misunderstanding and thinking we want you to bring your tips to us.
Right.
That is not it.
Right.
What we're doing is we're asking you to come forward with any information or any tips to bring to the proper authorities.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're asking.
And maybe you actually just got my wheels turning a little bit. Maybe we need to create some sort of other space for people to actually kind of like submit things or whatever, where we can just like forward on to like authorities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm also just a little bit concerned with the, like, if people are personally messaging you that stuff too, like if they're going in through our website, or if they're going in through like, you know, our email and stuff like that and sending us information, that's one piece, that's one layer where obviously you're still going to see it, Jane, but that's one layer at least where Drew and I can like sort of like help, like, you not have to actually be seeing it. So you actually just brought up a really good point. Let's think through that. Let's think through a sort of like a different space if people are feeling like they want to like connect out. But all I'm asking is just to like not personally message Jane with things like that.
And please don't come to my door.
No.
My home.
Don't show up to her house.
Don't show up to my house, please. Yeah. But, you know, Julie Murray has come across the same issues too, you know, where people have literally gone to them. And like they have said, you know, yes, we have asked for information, people to come forward with information, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're asking you to come to us with the information. We're asking you to come forward and bring it to the proper authorities.
Specifically speaking about Julie too, when there wasn't a good necessarily like working relationship between her and law enforcement, and it seems like now over the years like that there is a little bit better of a working relationship between her and law enforcement. I think that that was probably pretty challenging, right? Before that, to receive information, but like law enforcement's not even like talking to you.
Yeah.
People just assume that you have like the red line phone, you know, to like,
yeah,
like cold case unit, and you can just be like, yo, this person sent me the, you know, blah, 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 blah. But it's hard if they don't even call you back, you know, to relay information.
And I understand that it's frustrating because a lot of people that have gone to them with information never hear from them again. And then they do come to me again afterwards. And and I get the frustration with that. But you got to understand it's a process. They are investigating tips that do come in. They have to, you know, do their job, do what they need to do. And they're not going to contact you again unless they have questions for you.
True.
So
that's a great call
please
out.
don't think that they're not looking at your information. They are looking at your information. And again, unless they have questions for you, then you're not going to hear from them.
True statement. Yep. That's a great point.
I do have some pretty big projects that are going to be coming up, which I'll announce soon when I have more specific details. We're going to be meeting with the coalition again and planning our rally again this summer. We're going to have another one.
Yes, we will.
So we're planning that again. We'll have more information on that when we start meeting with everybody. Let's see. Oh, I got some like kind of personal stuff. I am a huge fan of Chaos and Kindness and Recycled Percussion. They are a band that are located in New Hampshire. They were on America's Got Talent. They ended up placing second, I believe, and they ended up with a contract to do shows at in Las Vegas. They ended up doing like over 5,000 shows in Las Vegas. They're a wonderful group of guys, Justin, Spencer, and Ryan. Very talented drummers. And they do wonderful, wonderful stuff with mental health, community. They're an awesome organization.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look them up, Chaos and Kindness or Recycle Percussion, I'm a huge fan. I've been to several of their shows. Their shows are amazing, very talented guys, and they're almost like a variety show. They have a little bit of everything. So, of course, I've been a big fan of theirs. They do a lot of with mental health. They've inspired me a lot with mental health and doing advocacy work. So after my show aired, or my little docuseries aired on WMUR, somebody contacted me. Her name is Liz.
Hey,
And we
Liz.
started chit chatting, and she actually grew up in Newport, New Hampshire, where some of the girls were murdered from the Connecticut River Valley. She was only 11 when my attack happened, and but she remembers all the cases throughout the years being talked about. And so she contacted me and said she just saw my case on the snippet on WMUR, and she looked me up and saw the podcast, started listening to the podcast. So we started chit chatting online. And then she found out that I was a Chaos and Kindness fan. It was so weird. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I do all their professional photography for all their shows. And she's like, we're like really good friends, and they just talk all the time. And of course, she follows them around to do their photography and all that. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. So she's like, oh, I can hook you up with them. She's like, have you ever wrote to them and told them about your story and what happened to you? And I was like, yeah, I actually have. But I know that they get thousands and thousands of letters every day in the mail. And so she contacted them, told them my story about what happened and that I'm a survivor. My daughter's a survivor. We're huge fans, and how they've inspired me so much throughout the years. And so we're supposed to be getting hooked up with them and talk about the advocacy work that we've been doing. So I'm super excited about
Yay.
that. They're busy right now. They just went on a cruise and they went to Florida and stuff. They've got a lot of projects going on. I just bought tickets to go to their 30-year show, their 30th
Nice.
anniversary year show. It's supposed to be huge. So I'm super excited about that. So yeah, so that was pretty exciting. So I gained a new friend, Liz. She's so awesome. We chit chat all the time, and I'm sure that this friendship will definitely grow. And she's just the sweetest thing. So I'm really grateful that she is hooking us up with Chaos and Kindness, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
to do some projects with them.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can hook up and get together and do a project or two together, and for advocacy work. And
Yes.
yeah, I'm super excited.
Great.
I'm hoping that we could think of something.
Yeah. That'll be so exciting.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. It's crazy how
Yeah.
you know she saw my thing on there and then looked me up and realized about the whole fan base for recycle percussion. So it was pretty cool. But if you have never heard of them, please look them up, follow them. They are amazing guys. They're super funny. They do all kinds of crazy, wacky things. Justin's wicked into mental health, and they've helped so many people and continue to help so many people. Amazing guys. Please look them up. Again, Chaos and Kindness. They're on Facebook, and their band is called Recycle Percussion. They have 2 Facebook pages. Look them up.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, the collaborations that are coming.
I know. We have so much.
We do.
I
We
want to
do.
share so much with you guys, but I want to wait
Yeah.
because we got to wait till we have more confirmation on a few things.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of stuff coming up, and it's going to be a crazy next few months into the summer.
It absolutely is. It's going to be a crazy rest of the year, I feel like. And yeah. So we're going to be back with a vengeance.
We
We're back with a
are.
vengeance now.
We are. We're going to start podcasting on a regular basis, getting back to advocacy,
Yes.
doing some cold cases and unsolved cases, and do what we do best, start talking about these cases that have been forgotten to make sure people don't forget about them and know that these cases are unsolved.
Yep, absolutely.
Please stay tuned and keep listening, and we're back.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Invisible Tears. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast to hear all future episodes. Click into our link tree too in the episode description to find and follow us on all our social medias. And it also links to our website, invisible-tears.com, where you can keep current on any events that may be coming up, read more about Jane and the team, and read more about all the Connecticut River Valley unsolved cases. Evil may exist in this world, but we will not let it win. See you next episode.